According to sources, it would take a historic haul for the Bears to move off the #1 overall selection. Something wild. Not saying it could not happen just like it did last year, but something crazy would make this happen.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. So the Chicago Bears yesterday made a couple of moves. They made two major cuts on Thursday, parting ways with Cody Whitehair, the offensive lineman, and then safety Eddie Jackson. So after these cuts, the Bears just freed up $21 million in cap space, and now they have $70 million to work with in this offseason. That's going to be critical, especially for trying to re-sign a guy like Jalen Johnson. We'll talk about that a little bit later on in the video. But guys, at the time of this recording, it is Saturday, February 17th. I think 1 month from now, and this is not, my personal wish. I want Justin Fields to be QB1 next season, but I think 1 month from now, Justin Fields will no longer be a part of the Chicago Bears organization. Recently, however, despite, we've been talking about quarterbacks for so long now, let's move past it. So we're going to talk about Danielle Hunter. We're going to talk about Jalen Johnson, and then we're going to talk about some potential draft picks at pick number 9, as opposed to their current #1 pick. So sources are saying that there's considerable speculation, the accuracy in the report that the Bears will pursue Vikings Danielle Hunter. Now, the quote is, the Bears pursued him last season, talk and trade when the Vikings thought about moving him. And this is coming from ESPN's The Catman via YouTube. Danielle Hunter would change a lot for this team. They already picked up Montez Sweat at last year's deadline, and he was wreaking havoc on opposing offensive lines, and quarterbacks getting a ton of sacks, but they need somebody to line up on the other side of the edge. So let's briefly talk about Danielle Hunter coming on over to the Chicago Bears. But before we do, if you guys enjoy it, be sure to hit that like button, hit that sub button for daily NFL content along with daily Chicago Bears videos. Bears fans, if we could try and get this video to 250 likes, that would mean the absolute world to me. So once again, man, like, quarterback situation aside, the Bears do have a need on the edge, all right? And this is not a great edge draft. You do have Dallas Turner. Dallas Turner in a couple of weeks during the combine is probably going to light it up. And Dallas Turner is probably going to be he's probably going to be the only edge rusher in the top 10. And as we know, the Chicago Bears currently have the 9th pick. So first things first, free agency is going to tell us how the Chicago Bears are going to draft Justin Fields or no Justin Fields, trade away the first pick, no trade away the first pick. If the Chicago Bears were to actually end up picking up Danielle Hunter in free agency, they obviously would not be drafting Dallas Turner at pick number 9. I still think regardless, they're going to go for a wide receiver weapon. We'll talk about that towards the end of the video. But Danielle Hunter made the Pro Bowl in 2023. He had a just excellent campaign. He's 29 years old. He had 16.5 sacks. He had 23 tackles for loss, and those led the NFL. The 23 tackles for loss led the NFL. In addition, he recorded 83 tackles. He had 4 forced fumbles, 22 quarterback hits, and he's just a special player. He's only 29 years old, and I can only imagine, like, having him on the other side of Montez Sweat is an absolute game changer. Once again, he's 29 years old. He's made 4 Pro Bowls in the last 2 seasons. He made 2 All-Pro teams as well, or All-Pro considerations. This guy's a beast, and Bears fans are fully aware that he's a beast. My favorite part about Danielle Hunter, outside of just the fact that he wreaks havoc on quarterbacks, he had 16.5 sacks this year. He had 10.5 sacks the year before that. 3 years ago, he was injured, so he only played 7 games. He did have 6 sacks in those 7 games. But then the 2 years prior, in 2018 and 2019, he had 14.5 sacks in both of those seasons. So he would be all over with Montez Sweat. Like, that would be one of the best, if not the best, edge rushing duos in the entire National Football League. And, even the Packers, the Lions, the Vikings, you have to play them twice a year. And those are 2, even if you only had Danielle, even if you only had Montez Sweat, those are 2 absolute star studs right there at the edge position. This Bears defense in general is just really coming along. But, like I said, my favorite part about Danielle Hunter is he's always available. He's been in the league since 2015. And he's only had 1 season where he's played more than, or less than, I should say, every game but 2. In his rookie season, he played 14 out of 16. He had 4 straight years playing every single game. Then he played 7 games in the last 2 seasons. Once again, he's played every single football game. So he would be very good. So once again, moving back to Jalen Johnson, they released Cody Whitehair. They released Eddie Jackson. These were moves that we kind of saw coming. So they increased their cap space from $46.87 million to $68.58 million. So like I said, they have pretty much $70 million in cap space. And that should be plenty of money to retain Jalen Johnson. He's going to command probably a contract around like 5 years, $110 million. We've heard him say it himself. He wants to reset the market. He wants to change everything. And so whether it's with Chicago or not, he's going to get paid. And you got to pay him. From Chicago's standpoint, they would probably, if they were to give him a contract like that, 5 years, $110 million, they would probably front load it just like they did to guys like Tremaine Edmonds. Jalen Johnson's coming off a phenomenal season. These are guys you just have to keep. However, I will say this. He has dealt with injuries his entire 4-year NFL career. This year, he played 14 football games. He had 4 interceptions. He had 10 pass deflections, 36 total tackles, made an all-pro team. He made a Pro Bowl. This guy's one of the best in the business at the defensive back, at the cornerback position. And in my opinion, you just have to retain him. You just have to re-sign him no matter what that price tag is. The dude can play. And he's a shutdown elite level cornerback. And that's just, that's personally what I want. So moving on to the end of this video here, they've got pick number 9. And, it's interesting because you're going to see a bunch of the mock drafts are changing. The draft boards are changing on a week to week, even day by day basis right now. We've got some draft stuff coming up in like 10 or so days. We've got the combine, but the draft's still like a little over 2 months away. Once again, free agency is going to determine how the Chicago Bears draft at pick number 9. But some guys on my personal board, I'm definitely looking at Malik Nabers. My only concern, the wide receiver out of LSU, I do think he'll be taken. I think a team like the New York Giants is going to come in and snag Malik Nabers quite easily. So that leaves you, or that leaves me with 2 possible scenarios, because I do think, once again, even though draft boards are going to change, you're starting to see J.J. McCarthy actually sneak into the top 10. I think we're going to see 3 straight quarterbacks. And then I think, Marvin Harrison's going to be picked. Malik Nabers going to be picked. I think Joe Alt's definitely going to be picked up. Dallas Turner could be picked up. There could be trades being happened. But point is this. We'll end it here. You have the chance. You should have the ability to draft an offensive weapon. And I have DJ Moore. And once again, the first pick in the draft, if they trade down and select Marvin Harrison, that'll change pick number 9. But if they were to just stand pat and draft Caleb Williams at pick number 1, I'm looking at Rome Odunze. I think Odunze is a beast out of Washington. And then I'm also looking at Brock Bowers, the tight end beast out of Georgia. Both of those 2 players are going to elevate regardless of if they get Marvin Harrison or Caleb Williams, because Tyler Scott didn't cut it for me as wide receiver 3, and Darnell Mooney's not going to be back. So regardless, they need more help. They need more offensive weapons regardless of who QB is. So thank you guys for watching. Have a great rest of your weekend. Let me know what your thoughts are on today's video, and we will see you